September 2021 is already bringing us some magical deals, but this one's got a little bit of a catch. We've got here a 3770 motherboard, 16 gig of RAM, untested, with a power supply. I got this for 100 Aussie dollars, and then it seems like the person who was selling it to me had some other parts as well, which is all untested, but I decided I would take the gamble, and this is another 2500K here, 16 gig of RAM, and a Z68 motherboard. And then we've got finally up here a Lenovo Special, which they said they got in from a trade-in from another computer, and they just couldn't fix it. So they said they reckon the RAM's a little bit faulty, but I'm going to take a look at it since I saw a GTX 950. I'm like, okay, $100, I'll take the gamble with that. So we've got 3 untested PCs, and then while they were at it, they said, look, here's a GTX 980 Ti that doesn't work and a GTX 1080 Ti that doesn't work. Would you know how to fix these? And I said, sure, I'll take a look at them. If I manage to fix them, then we can work out some kind of a deal. So this month is already looking like it's starting to look pretty good, but I got to head up to Brisbane where I've put in a heap of different offers on Ryzen, Intel i7, Intel i5, DDR3, DDR4, GPUs as well, you name it, I'm on it. So let's go hit the road and see what unfolds this month in the used PC parts under the month.
Are you tired of seeing this annoying activate Windows message? Then if so, today's video sponsor SCD Keys has you covered. For as little as $14 using the coupon code BFTYC, you can get activated today. Works for Windows 11 Pro too. Links in the description below. Welcome back to Tech Yes City, and if you're tuning in from any place in the world right now, hope you're smiling, hope you're staying healthy, and if not, then hopefully this video will bring a smile to your face. And we've already got the deals. We've already got 3 deals in the boot. Even though that was from one contact, it ended up being awesome and a great way to start the month. But I've also been hooking up and I've been scouring for graphics cards, Ryzen, all the CPUs, you name it. And I've come across a potential deal that could lead to more deals, in that there's a GTX 1060 3GB. Now they're asking $250. I dropped in an offer of 200 Aussie dollars. And then he replied, he said 200 sounds fair, and he also had a few more PC parts on hand. Now this guy with the GTX 1060, he is located in Brisbane, and Brisbane is a city in Australia where Les, who is a regular here on the channel, he does me pretty decent deals on used parts. So we're gonna go hit up Les first, then we're gonna go check out this graphics card. Then there's also, and some really good news, there's also another potential deal with 1050 Ti's. And I do say that in plural because apparently the person's got, I think, 11 of them, they told me. And I'm looking to get all of them, especially with Christmas coming up. People are gonna need some budget PCs, because I've found at the moment in the used scene that budget, anything that's coming in with a lower price point is selling really well. Anything with a higher price point is kind of taking a little while to move. Anyhow, guys, we're gonna go grab this Canon camera that I got in my hand. We're gonna check out what is on the front lines and keep you guys posted.
So here we are live on the floor at Les's beautiful place, and this is an X99 motherboard.
How much did we say for that?
That was 80. So you want to do a 70 on that?
No way.
You always got to try and shave off a tenner. But what we got right now is X79 with an i7 4820 16GB RAM. This is my favorite piece that Les has got right now, because you know me, X79, X99, X58. This is my bread and butter. So pick this one up for 150 Aussie. And hopefully that this cooler lights up with an LED too. That'd be really cool to see if it does have that LED. Now over here's some replacements as well. I had a 900 watt, I think it was an Antec high current gamer. It's a rare problem. It passed the power supply tester, but when you boot up the PC, the power supply started cutting out. So Les has just chucked us some just replacement stuff in lieu of that. And then we've got over here some other stuff there that I'm not kind of too keen on, more business grade stuff. But then we got over here a Z220 workstation, the same one that we're pulling that deal on. So 8 gig of RAM, 3470, and no hard drive. Yeah, $70. So take it and put it in the truck. Then the last deal that we're picking up right here is 2 terabyte hard drives and 1 terabyte hard drive. So managed to score all these drives here for $350. And that so far about wraps it up. I'm going to see if Les has any monitors, but if not, no biggie. So after negotiating with Les, he's got some monitor arms here, and he said he'd do them at $25 a piece. And they look like they're really good ones with the tension mounts and everything. So, I mean, look, when you got the product on display, you can see it in action. So I was like, yeah, right, I'll take 4 of them. So hopefully the studio will be getting a bit of a redeck now with some budget-used monitor stands. And that's what it's all about. And look at that, Les has an Azito. This is a screwdriver that I use to put together PCs. I knew Les was watching the channel. He's a secret admirer.
So we just finished up picking up 750 Aussie dollars in total of complete used goodness from Les. But we're going to go see what is crack-a-lackin' now with this GTX 1060. Fingers crossed, because I need graphics cards desperately.
Caught in moments, getting lost in time. All the pressure is building up inside. I can't control what's running through my mind.
So we just picked up the GTX 1060 3GB. Now I know it's 3GB, not the 6GB, but we still only paid 200 Aussie dollars for it. And in this market, I'd say it's a pretty good deal considering I desperately need those graphics cards. The person was really nice, and they have their own data recovery business. So I took their card. If you guys are on the coast or in Brisbane and you need data recovery, then be sure to hit up Dejan for those services. And in terms of what other PC parts they had a mini ITX system. They wanted 650 Aussie dollars for it, but I just said to myself, well, it's minus the GPU, and so that's the hardest thing to get right now. So I decided to pass up on that. But I think it was like an NZXT case, small form factor power supply 2600X, and a motherboard and RAM, also an SSD. So it wasn't too bad, but I'm just not in the market for that in particular. I'm more in the market for bare bones and drives on there, like more bulk discount sort of stuff where I can put together my own gaming PCs. But speaking of a bulk discount, we might have something special coming up right now. So we're gonna go hit the road, and I might actually grab a feed on the way as well. I'm starving.
Deeper. Falling deeper. Caught in moments, getting lost in time. All the pressure is building up inside. I can't control what's running through my mind.
So now we're back at the Tech Yes studio, just recouping, and I gotta say, I was just gonna say we are back diddly dack with the deals this month, and man, this amount of GPUs is what it's all about. I've been really hanging for something to come through in the last couple of months, and this 1050 Ti hookup was definitely the way to go. So basically there was one of them advertised for $200, and I came in and I said, would you take 160? And then they're like, well, yeah. And then they said they had 11 of these 1050 Ti's. So that was an absolute score. We got that 1060 as well. And then we got this GTX 950 with this combo here. So this is looking really nice so far. I'll put a tally up on the screen on what this parts hunt is about so far. But there's also an i7 4790 with 16 gigs of RAM. They got back to me pretty late because it's 10 p.m. right now, so I'm getting a little bit tired, but they came back and they said they would accept the 150, and they're not too far from me, so I might go pick that up tomorrow. I'd say if I find some other good deals that are out and about, then we'll continue tomorrow's parts hunt. And then, of course, we got these two PCs from Les here. These are just the 3rd Gen i5 Z220 towers and all the hard drives here. However, what I'm going to do now, since I did pick up these 3 boards and that GPU for a pretty solid deal, I'm just going to test out those graphics cards and just report back and see if I can get either of them working quickly Usually the best way to do this without, washing them or doing any heat guns or anything like that is just to actually take the back plate off both of them. Since they've both got back plates, I'll just quickly run through and see what I can muster up. So it's now 6 p.m. the next day, and this is going to be one of the shortest parts hunts I've done because we came up kind of empty-handed today. We did have a few feelers that we put out there. One of them has come back with a potential yes. It just depends if someone else picks up the deal. So this was for a GTX 960 2GB where they're asking 150. I put in an offer of 90, and then they came back and said, well, if this person who said they were picking it up a day ago doesn't come and pick it up tonight, that's for 110. So they put in an offer of 110. They said that they'll let me have it for 90. So fingers crossed I can get that one. Then there was also the i7-4790 and 16GB RAM that I talked about yesterday. But it's actually storming and raining outside, so I kind of don't want to go out just for one deal. And it's sort of mediocre at that. I'd like to actually hear your thoughts on what you think an i7-4790 and 16GB of RAM is worth. 150 is kind of like fair value. It's not a great deal. And earlier in the month, I picked up an i7-4790 alone just for $80 on itself. And I'm kind of thinking, well, $80 for the chip, $50 for the RAM. It's kind of like 130 would be a better deal, in my opinion. But one thing that's come back completely empty-handed is all the Gumtree offers that I put out have come back empty-handed, where they're just coming back with those price points that are a little bit higher than what I'm prepared to pay. And the market right now is so weird where things are moving and they're not moving. And I'd say anything with a budget price point on it, especially if you're flipping gaming PCs on a budget price point, they're moving really well. I'd say in Australia right now, anything under, say, 1,000 Aussie dollars, or in USD terms, 700 USD, is moving extremely fast. But then once you go over that sort of psychological price point of $1,000, it is so slow to move this stuff. And that's what I'm finding personally here where I'm at, is under $1,000 moving really fast, over $1,000 just sitting there. You're pretty much not even getting any interest either. So I think what's happening on the higher end is, even if those graphics cards are moving, it's either crypto miners buying them, the majority, or it's people who are replacing their graphics cards in their already built systems. But on that note, picking up those 1050 Ti's was easily my favorite deal of the month so far. But one thing we'll quickly touch on now, and we'll also talk about when we do the live stream for PC Parts Price Watch, is the actual market itself is giving off some of the weirdest signals I've ever seen to this date. We've got deflationary pressures and we've got inflationary pressures. And it seems like, for instance, those deals that I put out on, those offers that I put out for all those parts, none of them have moved. And it's been over a day, so none of them are really hot, none of them are really moving. I've seen ads on Marketplace that have been sitting there for months now and they haven't moved. And so that in ways is like a deflationary pressure. And if we look at the macro environment right now in the world, there's a massive amount of global debt. But then on the other side of the fence, we've got governments printing money at an unprecedented amount and pace. But then to top that all off, there's supply chains actually being cut off. When it comes to things like, I think in the UK recently, there's talks of gas stations just being overloaded with people trying to get gas, which is really reminiscent of the 1970s, and that was just a huge, massive inflationary period for pretty much the whole world. So at this point in time, it just feels like, I remember researching a while ago that we're going into what would be called as an inflationary depression, and that seems to be where we are heading. And so relating this to PC parts, it seems like going forward, these two pressures will fight each other, and what you'll experience is massive volatility. You may even see some months PC parts will be very cheap, whether it's used or new, and then some months you'll see them be very expensive. And so all I can say is going forward is just be quick on your toes. When there's a good deal, and it's a really good deal, snap it up. And then of course, if prices are high, just wait it out for those periods, because I feel like this jet coaster is only just getting started. And with that aside, I hope you guys enjoyed this used PC parts hunt of September 2021. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button. And we've also got the question of the day here, and this comes from Van Dankholm, and they ask, is PCIe Gen 3 X8 the same as PCIe Gen 2 X16? And in terms of maximum bandwidth and throughput, then technically yes, but in terms of the way PCIe Gen 3 polls, it's actually polls more times per second than PCIe Gen 2. But for real world intents and purposes, you'll basically see no difference between these two. Hope that answers that question. If you guys have stayed this far and you're enjoying that Tech Yes content, be sure to hit that like button, smash the sub, ring the bell, and also let us know in the comments what was your favorite deal of the month. And I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.